Hey, thanks for joining me. My good friend Latik Curry hit me up and likes to send me some random comics because he likes my channel, and I can't help but feel humbled every time anybody, especially my friend Latik, hits me up and says, "Hey, bro, I love your channel. You have this comic? I'll send it to you." I'm like, "Sure, thank you, sir." He sent me a bunch of stuff. I've had a lot of comics on the channel that he's sent to me. He's a pretty awesome guy. And the Erik Larsen Turtles, I'd never read it, and I wasn't necessarily sure I'd want to see it. I like the Turtles, but I don't know if I was interested in an Erik Larsen version of the Turtles. I don't know. I don't. I got to be honest. I like everyone else. I know the Ninja Turtles, right? Most of us grew up with them. There was cartoon, there was toys, there's movies. I didn't even know comic books about these guys existed for a long time when I was younger. I didn't know that's where they originated from. I do like the Turtles, but my version of the Turtles that I'm a fan of is that first movie from whatever it is, 1990. I legitimately think it's a really good movie. It's well directed. The action's great. It's a perfect balance of the action and the humor. When I think of Ninja Turtles and the versions of them that I like and I think of and I'm nostalgic and get warm, fuzzy feelings for, it's the movie. Just the first one. Second one's got some moments here and there. Third one fucking sucks. And then the big CGI Michael Bay ones, they are what they are. They're giant roided out monsters, and it's kind of fine. The second one was actually funner than the first one. But anyway, I never really read, not really. I didn't ever read any of the original Turtle comics. And Erik Larsen did. He's a big fan of Eastman and Laird. Like in this book, in the back, he has a big, long letters page talking about who they are and what they did, giving full respect to them, and how Erik Larsen was very excited to get the opportunity to publish Turtle comics. I'm like, okay, that's great. Why not? I was actually surprised when I flipped it open. I was not expecting a black and white comic. I shout out all the time. I'm like, I wish there were more black and white comics. I would like to see more black and white artwork. And here we go. Gary Carlson writing it. I know the name only from the connection to Erik Larsen. I know those names have been connected. I know he's got a long history that I'm not super aware of. I don't mean that as a disrespect. I know of him, but I don't know anything about him. Frank Fosco as penciler with Erik Larsen doing inks, and Chance Wolf, who's a badass inker. He does ink assist. I wish I knew where or how. Everything in here looks like just Erik Larsen inks. And Erik Larsen overpowers the shit out of this stuff to the degree where I'm like, it kind of just feels like an Erik Larsen book. And that's not bad. That's not a complaint. I've seen Frank Fosco's name. I know I've seen his work, but I can't say where. But I can, like, does his work look this much like Larsen? Or does Larsen just overpower it with his inks? And again, I like Larsen. I love his inking. He's got a very distinctive kind of style that works. And I like it a lot. I really do. And so this is kind of an interesting thing to look at. Starts out with the turtle getting blown up. And that's a pretty cool drawing. I actually like that a lot. I was like, did I skip a page here? Yeah, this is printed in June of 96. And so then here's the rest of the team. There's Splinter. He's like, that sound, it not fireworks. That's my voice for Splinter. They're like, no, it sounded like gunfire. Donnie's been shot. Somebody's going to pay for this. So they're like, Donatello got the fuck blown out of him. There's his bloody hand just sticking up. They're like, somebody's going to pay for this. And then a grenade gets dropped into the room. So they all have to duck, dive, dip, dodge, and duck from the grenade. And it blows up. And they're like, holy shit, look, double page spread of some giant cyborg robotic warrior things. They show up invading the turtles' lair. We are jumping right the fuck into this story. Like, no waiting. So they're like, there's Raph. Leonardo's ducking behind the table with Splinter there. Mikey's over here freaking out. And where's Donatello's dead ass? He's there somewhere. I do like how this one guy's like got the gun right to Mikey's head. They're like, hey, we're here. We're going to kick your guys' asses. They were trying to sell it. Like, I guess it was the turtle's birthday. They're like, happy birthday, freaks. It's going to be your last one. One thing with the art, again, I'm a big fan of Erik Larsen, and I like seeing it in black and white. but I'm going to kind of put this on Frank Fosco because he's the penciler and he's the one making the choices. There are some places in this where the storytelling's a little unclear and the compositions make the images a little bit hard to decipher a little bit here and there. But that being said, I feel like it's pretty well drawn, all things considered. But yeah, Donnie's blown up. Bad guys, cyborg warriors show up to start kicking ass. And Turtles ain't going to take that shit. So Raph comes running along and starts fighting them. So now the fight's on, right? Mikey, like, he even doing some, like, impersonations here. He's like, "You dirty rat, you shot my brother." I'm pretty sure that's the exact line from the movie, too. Remember that when they're with April O'Neil and they're eating frozen pizza? "You dirty rat." Anyway, they're like, "Holy shit, how's Mikey?" Or Mikey, how's Donnie, right? Splinter's down there with him, and like, he appears to be in shock, but his pulse is strong. Perhaps the shots missed his major organs. "I will do what I can for him until you and your brothers dispose of the intruder." So Donatello's down here a bloody fucking mess, and they say he's been shot. I mean, that's pretty rough. All right, the battle continues. Leonardo jumps into there. They're just fighting the monsters. Leonardo comes along and like, this cyborg character has got his arm coming forward, and you can see through the little viewfinder here, he's targeting the turtle's head right there. But Leo shows up, chops his arm off, and the cyborg's like, "Yeah, that hurt, but my armor is cauterizing the wound, and my organic metal cells can replicate the lost mass." And so it just reforms another gun, pointing the target right at his face. So I'm like, okay, you can chop them apart, but they can just reform. I kind of like this kind of heavily rendered Sin City type, like, rendering on this gun pointing at him. That's kind of interesting. But, yeah, Raphael jumps up and cuts the guy's head off. He's like, "Well, we cut your arm off. Like, let's see if you can do that without your head." So now the cyborg head, like, his head literally drops off and the cyborg body's kind of running around. And the turtles beat the shit. I guess that's the last one. I guess. So they kind of won for half a second, but then legs show up, and then there's some hot ninja girl. I mean, I assume she's a ninja. She says she's a ninja here. "I, too, am ninja." That doesn't look like ninja. But she snuck up on Splinter and's got a knife to his back. But she does say there is no honor in killing a drugged opponent. So she's got this little weapon. So I'm guessing the implication is she drugged him. So that's why Splinter's not kicking her fucking pussy in and beating her ass. But she still snuck up on him. Come on, Splinter. You're a bigger badass than this. And Donatello is still bleeding to death back here. What the fuck? There's also a little jar of little turtles back here. That'll come into the story shortly. Again, I'm kind of digging this. This just looks like Erik Larssen's work, though. And again, that's not a bad thing for me. So the turtles are pissed. They're like, "You fucking ninja bitch, give us our boy back." But they're like, "We're here to take Splinter and Donatello. We're taking them." The cybernetic soldiers are fighting with Ninja Girl, but they end up, like, just finally like, "Okay, we're going." And they're like, if the bad guys are saying, "If you follow us, we'll kill them." Raph says, "If you think we're just going to let you waltz out of here, think again. The second you turn your back on me, I'm going to carve my name into your bare butt." She says, "When we cross blades again, we'll get to have the fight, but you guys just wait, because we'll kill your friends if you come after us." And to distract them, they throw down a flash grenade that, blinds them while they get away. So the turtles take off running. They got to go find them. Like, "We got to go catch up with our homies." They get up to the surface. They're looking up, and they're like, they hear some kind of motor, and the bad guys are getting away on a helicopter. They're taking off. They're gone. Turtles are pissed. And Donatello is still a bleeding ass mess. They're like, the rat is in dreamland, but I think this turtle is bled to death. He's not moving. They're like, "Alive or dead, no matter, an autopsy will serve the Dragon Lord's purpose." But it's right in this moment where we flash back into Donatello's head, his bloody dead ass. We suddenly go into his head, and we get like a astral plane backstory. And so there's Splinter. He's like, "Happy birthday, my sons. 18 years ago today, the canister of radioactive waste changed all our lives." So he just kind of goes over, "I met you, but I'm getting old. I'm not going to be around for long." They're like, "Sure, whatever. You've been around forever." And then, so he brings him a birthday gift. And I like all the kind of storytelling with the turtles. Like, they're putting hats on their head. They're kind of fighting over it here. There's some characterization in with the body language going on. It's funny. But Splinter's brought them a gift. What is it? It's a jar of 4 baby turtles. And they're like, oh, look, these are cute. And Splinter's like, just remember, you might think your lives are tough. I wish that you could live in the above world, the overworld with the humans, but your mutated selves can't live there. But you could have just been little turtles in a jar. So be happy for the life that you do have. So they're like, this is great. And so Donatello's there. He's gonna Splinter brought him a cake. They were making fun of the fact that Splinter probably made a terrible cake, but it looks pretty good. But so Donatello's right there. He's got the cake, and suddenly we got guns pointing at his face, and they unload on him, shooting at him, which is where the comic started out. So we get a little bit of backstory showing how we got to this opening dramatic action shot to start the book. So they just unload bullets into him. And then in that moment where he got shot, Donatello wakes his ass up. He just wakes up. He's like, God, you creeps shot me. The bad guy's like, the turtle is alive after all. So Donatello gets his bloody ass up and starts kicking the shit out of everybody. And the girl's flying the helicopter. She's like, Jesus Christ, this guy's going to make us crash. So Donatello's a badass, I guess. He's been unconscious. He's bled about 5 pounds of blood out of his body, but he gets up and starts kicking the shit out of people. Now, this panel is one of those where I kind of appreciate what they did, and I'm also kind of like, wait, what? It took me a second to see. Like, there's Donatello's head and his arm and his body, and I guess he's jumping out, grabbing, like holding on to the cybernetic bad guy, but it's upside down. Like, if you flip it over, there's the city. Like, here's the overhead. Like, this is how most artists would do this. Here's the city shot. We're looking down at it. So it's a really good drawn, 3-point perspective city shot. But they're jumping out of the helicopter, but they illustrate it to make it disorienting. So it's upside down and it throws you off. And it's kind of hard to see, but it also, like, I get what they're doing. So I kind of respect it, even though I don't know if the clarity is messing with me. When I have to stop and go, what the fuck am I looking at? That's not good. That's not the ideal situation for you to stop and go, I am lost. What am I looking at? But I also appreciate the balls to do something like that. I've never seen that before. So now Donnie and cybernetic guy are falling out of the helicopter. And so Donatello, again, who's been shot and he's bloody and all fucked up, he's like, hey, bad guy, I don't suppose your armor comes equipped with boot jets or a rocket pack or glider wings or a parachute or an airbag or something? And the guy says, if it does, I don't know how to make it work. So Donatello just kind of balls up and he's like, well, this is gonna fucking suck. So he just falls to the planet. And again, I'm kind of looking at this panel and it's hard to tell what I'm looking at. I'm like, okay, it's upside down again. There's his hand, there's his eyes, there's his gritted teeth. Okay, now I see it. It's just a little bit kind of unclear. But once you see it, I'm like, okay, I got it. Maybe coloring would help with clarity. I don't know. But he's going to fall to the planet. Is he going to survive? Who knows? Back at the Turtles' lair, well, since they can't follow in the helicopter, they're going to go to the cybernetic warrior's body. Remember, his head, they cut it off. So they got his head on the table. His body's down here. They're like, well, if Donatello was here, they could have dissected this thing and figured it out. So they're like, well, I don't know what we're going to do. But Raphael is pissed. He's like, I'm going to put this, because I guess the robot's still kind of alive. It's still talking. It's still kind of going. And so Raphael says, well, let's put this poor son of a bitch out of his misery. And then he says, calling Dr. Howard, Dr. Fine, Dr. Howard, just call me Dr. Kevorkian. I don't get that. I suppose that's some kind of in-joke that I don't get. But Raph is going to stab this fucker to death, and the head suddenly pops away because, like, danger, danger, host organism is imperiled. And they're like, oh, guys, the armor is talking. And Raph says, well, all the more reason to pull the plug. And so the head says, warning, defense mechanisms have been armed. Cease all hostilities. Any further attempts to nullify base life form will be met with extreme violence. So they're like, the armor must be some sort of parasite. If you kill the host, the armor dies too, and it doesn't want to go peacefully. So Raph says, well, what's it going to do? Bite me? Haha. Adios, amoeba. And so the cybernetic body points a gun up while Raph is not looking. He's looking the other way. So the gun points at him, and it shoots him in the fucking face. Boom. I really like the way that his sigh is drawn there. Kind of just the heavy shadows and no holding lines for the rest of the outside of the blade. That looks really cool. They shoot Raph in the face. These turtles are getting fucked up. Donatello's been riddled with bullets. Raph is getting his face blown off. What the hell is going on? So Mikey and Leonardo beat the shit out of the head and the body and just smash it to pieces until it's just gone. And they turn back to Raph and they're like, dude, are you okay? And Raph just had his face blown off. He's like, I don't know. My face is fried. It hurts, Leo. It hurts bad. I can't see very well. How's it look? Holy shit. Look what they did to Raphael. And I do seem to remember seeing issues later on where there was like a cybernetic enhanced turtle. I'm guessing it's him. That's not a version of the Turtles I want to see, but it's ballsy and it's doing something different. So like, holy shit. So Leo's like, or is that Leo? No, it's probably Mikey. I can't tell when it's not in color and they're not wearing masks and I can't see their weapons, whatever. You probably won't be voted the world's sexiest man this year, Raph. Come on, there's some salve and some bandages in the first aid kit. And they're like, wait, what the heck? And then there's Splinter. Remember, he's on the helicopter being kidnapped. He's projecting an astral plane image of himself. He's like, hey, my sons, my captors are taking me here. We're at this place. Come find us. Come help me. And then on the helicopter, Ninja Girl looks back and sees what Splinter's doing. She's like, holy shit. He must be at least a 7th level ninja to accomplish that trick. But anyway, we got to stop him. So robotic guy gets up and fucking punches Splinter in the face. Boom. Psychic astral plane projection disappears. And the turtle, Leonardo, he's like, holy shit, the master's gone. So there is the end of issue 1. So quite the shocking first issue. Just ripping the turtles apart, blowing their faces off, putting bullet holes in them. I do appreciate the black and white nature of the comic because I think that's supposed to be a throwback to the original Turtles comics, which were black and white. And again, Larsen it's not Larsen telling a story, it's Gary Carlson. I'm sure Larsen had some input, I'm guessing. He is the editor, and he is the one that has the deal from Eastman and Laird to do this. But, Gary Carlson, they wrote a ballsy comic. I was actually kind of surprised. I don't know if I'm going to enjoy reading the rest of them. I don't have any more of them, but if I find them, I am curious to see what happens. But I don't know. I don't want to see, like, turtles with their faces blown off and shit like that. I don't know. Maybe one of these days I'll be able to get more. But as a first issue from Image Comics, the Turtles, it just feels like an Erik Larsen comic. So it's kind of fine. I actually liked it more than I thought that I would. How about that? That's what I can say about it. I kind of thought that this was going to suck, and it didn't. It was fun. I'm just like, I'm not sure where this is going, but I don't know. We'll see. So I don't know. Somebody tell me, what do you think about it when you read this stuff? So that's all I got for this now. Before I go, hey, once again, as always, guys, I got my own comics. I got He-Man fan comics. I made 6 graphic novels of my own story, telling a He-Man fan story. Gets a little more adult. But I had a lot of fun. These are volumes 1, 2, and 3. I have volumes 4, 5, and 6 right here. Tell a big epic story kind of involving all the main characters of He-Man. I didn't get into like Stinkor and shit like that, but kind of the main characters, and just did my own version of what I feel like would be a He-Man movie in comic form. They're all graphic novels. The final volume's like 137 pages. This one was big. Anyway, I've got that. I've also got a sketchbook that I've put together, female figures. Just drawings I've done over the years, put together into a sketchbook. If you're into that kind of shit, I've got these things available. If you're interested, hit me up. Let me know. You can find me on Instagram. You can find me on Facebook. And we can get copies in your hands if you're interested. But as far as Ninja Turtles from Erik Larsen and Image Comics, it's kind of fun, kind of weird. It is what it is. That's all I've got for now. Thanks for joining me. I really appreciate it. I'll see you next time.